In 1975, a man named Robert got a job at a steel factory in Pennsylvania. No degree, no connections, just showed up and worked hard. Within 10 years, he owned a house, had 2 cars, sent his kids to college, and retired at 62 with a pension. His son David followed the same advice. Work hard, stay loyal, put in the hours. David worked harder than his father ever did. He had a degree. He stayed at the same company for 18 years. He got promoted twice. He never missed a day. In 2026, David is 54 years old, renting an apartment, has $23,000 in his retirement account, and is genuinely unsure whether he will ever be able to stop working. Same advice, same effort, completely different result. And the reason that gap exists is not David's fault. It is not laziness. It is not poor decisions. It is not a character failure. It is the most important economic shift of the last 50 years that nobody explained to David when he was following the advice his father gave him. Hard work used to build wealth. In 2026, it mostly just keeps you afloat. And understanding exactly why that changed is the most financially important thing you can learn right now. Drop a comment before we go any further. Are you working harder than your parents did, but financially behind where they were at your age? Type yes or no, because I think this comment section is about to tell a very specific story. Let us start with the number that explains everything. Between 1979 and 2024, American worker productivity increased by over 65%. Workers produced 65% more value for every hour they worked. In the same period, real wages for middle-income workers rose approximately 17%, 65% more output, 17% more pay. The other 48% went somewhere. It went to corporate profits. It went to shareholder returns. It went to executive compensation packages that grew from 21 times the average worker salary in 1965 to 344 times by 2024. This is not opinion. This is documented by the Economic Policy Institute across 4 decades of labor data. The deal that Robert relied on in 1975 was simple. You produce more value, you receive more compensation. That deal held for roughly 30 years after the Second World War. Then it quietly broke. Not dramatically, not with an announcement. It just stopped being honored, year by year, quietly. And the workers who kept their end of the bargain, who showed up, who worked harder, who produced more, received less and less of what they produced. Hard work did not stop being valuable. It stopped being rewarded. Now here's the second part of this story that most people never see clearly. The rich did not get richer because they worked harder than you. They got richer because they own assets. The top 1% of Americans now hold 31.75% of all wealth in the country. The highest share since the Federal Reserve began tracking it in 1989. The Gini coefficient, which measures wealth inequality, hit a 60-year high in early 2026, according to U.S. bank research. And here's the mechanism that explains how that happened while you were working hard. When you work, you sell your time. Time has a ceiling. There are only 24 hours in a day. You can work harder, you can work more hours, you can get promoted. But your income is fundamentally capped by the number of hours you can physically give. When you own assets, stocks, property, a business, those assets work while you sleep. The S&P 500 returned 25% in 2023, 23% in 2024, and 17% in 2025. 3 consecutive years of enormous returns. The person with $500,000 in index funds made $125,000 in 2023 without doing a single additional hour of work. The person earning $60,000 in wages worked 2,000 hours to earn $60,000. Same year, same economy, completely different mechanism. And here's the critical detail that the advice your parents gave you missed entirely. The Federal Reserve reports that 87% of stock-owning Americans are adults in households earning $100,000 or more per year. The people who most need asset ownership to build wealth are the least likely to have it. The people working hardest for wages are the least likely to have the assets that generate wealth without working. The system is not broken. It is working exactly as designed, just not for the people doing most of the work. Now, let us talk about something that is specifically destroying the hard work reward in 2026 that did not exist in your parents' generation in the same way. The inflation trap. Between 2021 and 2024, cumulative inflation in the United States reached approximately 20%, groceries up 25%, housing up 45%, energy up dramatically. Wages for middle-income workers rose approximately 15 to 18% in the same period. That means workers who received wage increases, who got the raise, who worked for the promotion, still ended up poorer in real terms. Their salary went up in number. What it buys went down in reality. A raise that does not beat inflation is not a raise. It is a pay cut with better optics. And this has been the quiet reality for most working Americans for most of the last 4 years. Hard work got you a raise. The raise lost money to inflation. You ended up behind. In the United Kingdom, real wages, adjusted for inflation, fell for most of 2022 and 2023 before recovering partially. British workers experienced the longest sustained fall in real wages since records began, working hard, getting paid more, having less. In Canada, Statistics Canada published data showing that middle-income earners saw their inflation-adjusted purchasing power decline consistently between 2021 and 2025. In Germany, real household incomes were under sustained pressure through 2024 and 2025 as energy costs soared and industrial wages failed to keep pace. The same story, every developed economy, the same direction. Now let us talk about the third force that has made hard work financially insufficient in 2026. The asset price explosion that happened while wages were stagnating. Between 2020 and 2025, the median American home price rose 45%. If you owned a home in 2020, your net worth increased by hundreds of thousands of dollars. You did nothing to create that increase. You simply owned the asset when it went up. If you were renting in 2020 because you could not yet afford to buy, you received zero of that appreciation, and the rent you were paying went up because property values went up, because landlords raised rents to reflect their increased asset values. So the person who owned a home got wealthier without working. The person renting worked hard, paid more in rent, saved less, fell further behind on the deposit they needed to eventually buy. The same economy, the same work ethic, the same effort. Completely different financial outcomes determined almost entirely by whether you entered 2020 owning an asset or not. This is not about the 2020 pandemic specifically. This is a pattern that has been repeating for 30 years. Every asset price cycle rewards owners and leaves workers further behind. And the gap between those two groups has been compounding for 3 decades. The Gini coefficient at a 60-year high is not an accident. It is the mathematical result of a system where asset prices consistently outpace wage growth. Drop a comment right now. Did your parents own their home by your current age? And do you own yours? Tell me the comparison. Because that single data point tells the whole generational wealth story. Now let us talk about something that is accelerating this dynamic in 2026 specifically, artificial intelligence. Goldman Sachs published analysis in 2026 estimating AI is already eliminating approximately 16,000 American jobs per month. But here's the part of the AI story that almost nobody is discussing in terms of the work-to-wealth relationship. The productivity gains from AI are not going to the workers whose jobs AI is improving. They are going to the shareholders of the companies deploying the AI. A customer service team that used to employ 20 people now employs 8, with AI handling the volume of all 20. The company's costs fell. The company's profits rose. The shareholders received higher returns. The 12 people whose jobs were eliminated received nothing from the productivity gain their replacement created. And the 8 people still employed received no raise for now doing the work of 20. The pattern that broke the work-to-wealth relationship in the 1980s is now being turbocharged by the most powerful productivity tool in human history. And the gains are flowing to the same place they have always flowed, to the people who own the technology, not the people displaced by it. Now, let me be direct about something that often gets left out of this conversation. Individual effort still matters. Skill still matters. Education and adaptability still matter. The person who develops high-demand skills in 2026 will earn more than the person who does not. That is still true. That has always been true. What has changed is the ceiling. In 1975, Robert could work hard at a factory job and build a genuinely comfortable middle-class life. In 2026, you can work exceptionally hard at a professional job with a university degree and still not be able to afford the house your parents bought on a single income. The floor is dropped. The ceiling has not risen proportionally. Hard work is still necessary. It is just no longer sufficient the way it once was. And understanding that distinction is not defeatism. It is the most important financial clarity available to anyone trying to build wealth in the current environment. Because if you understand that wages alone will not build wealth in a system designed to reward asset ownership, you can stop waiting for your salary to save you and start building the asset base that the system actually rewards, at whatever scale you can currently manage. Even small, consistent investment in assets over long periods of time produces dramatically different outcomes than the same money held in a salary and spent on consumption. The Federal Reserve's research consistently shows that households with any investment assets, even modest ones, build significantly more wealth over 20 years than households of similar income with no investment assets. Not because investing is magic, because the system is designed to reward ownership. And the first step toward ownership at any scale is understanding why wages alone have stopped being the path your parents took them for. Robert worked hard and built wealth because the system of 1975 was designed to let him. David worked just as hard and did not build wealth because the system of 2026 is designed differently. That is not David's failure. That is the most important financial fact of the current era. And the Wealth Ledger exists to make sure you understand it clearly enough to do something about it. Subscribe, because every week we go deeper into how the system actually works.